Well, consider my tables turned. Hello everyone, and welcome on back to the channel. Another icon has dropped, which means we have about 3 left? Yeah, I think 3. This is the 6th one. Now, this one has thrown a bit of a wrench in the whole system of my guesses so far. A few icons back, we had those playing cards, which I really thought was Thief. However, today's icon is of a twisted dagger, it appears. Now, this twisted dagger is definitely more in line with Thief, perhaps. I get the imagery and the feeling of assassin. Now, it'd be kind of cool, considering that we have somewhat been confirmed to be getting Paragon and Ritualist, if in this expansion they pull from a lot of that existing lore from professions from Guild Wars 1. I would like to see it. I think this could be a fun expansion of reliving some of that nostalgia and pulling those ancient classes and those ancient ways into the modern world of Guild Wars to see how they have evolved over time. So with this image being a dagger, my brain immediately went to Thief, and I think for many of us it was kind of where it went as well, but then it also created perhaps that dissonance where we had those cards, and we were so certain that that was probably going to be Thief. It seemed trickstery. There's a depiction of the concept art in the Thief's Trickery line with a bunch of cards there, so I think that's maybe where we were all kind of naturally going towards. So this does make me wonder if this is Thief or not. I would say that my gut feeling, my gut instinct is telling me that this is in fact Thief. It just seems like the most fitting. I've also heard people say Ritualist, but in all honesty, because we're not getting any weapons, and I guess Necro already has daggers, I don't understand why this would be representative of Ritualist. This doesn't feel ritualistic at all when it comes to Guild Wars 1's Ritualists. They weren't really sacrificing many things, if anything at all. I think they were mostly just channeling the spirits through their practices and keeping their eyes closed, rather than having a bunch of more violent sacrifices and bloodletting. So I'm not really getting the sentiment that this is Necromancer at all, and because we're not getting weapons, and it seems like this is going to be focused on profession mechanics, if this was the Ritualist, I would expect more spirits on their profession mechanic, not really dagger stuff. So yeah, I'm not leaning towards Necromancer for me. I'm really only leaning towards Thief. Perhaps Ranger? Maybe Ranger? Because there's some type of, I don't know, adventurer, swashbuckler. You're kind of a duelist in a way. So those are the ideas that I have for this image. But when it comes to Thief, we've talked about their class already in terms of what they do, and how they are utilizing elements of their stealth and evasions to assassinate and kill their targets. I think they could push this even further. They already have poisons, they have venoms, but they could go a little bit further into that assassin subterfuge, highly evasive, quick strike motif and theme. Assassin in Guild Wars 1 I have not personally played. I know that a lot of people enjoyed Assassin quite a lot, so if they're able to pull from elements that they have yet to pull from and flesh out an assassin elite specialization, I'm all here for it. I know the core Thief already has many elements with its just general direction, but maybe there's something that we haven't thought about yet that they were able to nail down. So yeah, I guess the other profession that I might think about when it comes to this icon is perhaps Revenant, just because it's very sharp and angular, and Revenants don't have access to a dagger, but we're not getting new weapons, though maybe the profession mechanic does something more interesting for Revenant than just giving it a new legend. That class in particular, the Revenant, I am keeping my eyes peeled as for what they are going to do with it, because yes, giving them a new legend is a part of the norm for Revenants. However, that legend is really just their utility skills, and I feel like they would maybe suffer a little bit compared to the other classes if they weren't getting a weapon to compensate for that slight lack of build diversity and build potential. So Thief, Revenant, those are the professions that I'm currently mixing around with. But then it leaves us with a little bit of a final talking point that I just want to briefly mention. What in the world could those cards be? I know we've all thrown out a couple professions each time that we see this icon. Is like, it could be this, it could be that. And I think when I was looking at those cards, I was like, yeah, this gives Thief, but it could also be Elementalist, just because they were 4 diamonds and then 1 larger black diamond in the center. Maybe that is symbolic of a 5th attunement. I think it'd be really cool to see a card class be more magical. I tend to enjoy when card-esque classes are more magical with a sense of luck and RNG. But then it also got me thinking that it could be Guardian, maybe. Just because Guardian has 3 virtues and they showed 3 cards. Now, very, very topical, I'm gonna admit. Very topical for a reasoning. It would make sense to have 3 just because I feel like it visually looks the best. But that also means like they could have just shown 1 card rather than 3 cards. So perhaps there's going to be some kind of tarot or card system for Guardian, which I'd actually really love to see. I'm a huge Guardian player and a big fan of other card-like classes in other MMORPGs. So if they were able to marry one of my favorite classes in Guild Wars 2 with some of my other favorite RPG elements, hey, I would be ecstatic. But that being said, that card class is a little bit more of a mystery for me. I think now that we have this dagger icon and the cards, these 2 icons are giving me the most conflict. All of the other icons have kind of lived in their own vacuum and somewhat been like, oh, that seems like that'll be towards that or this class. Getting the concept art confirmation for both Paragon and Ritualist also emboldens me in thinking like, certain icons might be attributed to that specific class. So we're getting a little bit more information as more of these icons come out, and especially with that confirmed concept art of both of those classes, where we have a lot more to work with. And now that we have a lot more to work with, we've come into a situation where there is a clash amongst the community. Is Thief cards or is Thief this dagger? What do you have to say? Where would you place your bets? Now comment down below what you have to say about this specific dagger icon, and also maybe talk about how you are maybe reassessing your thoughts in regards to those cards that we saw a few days ago. I don't know, this one's tricky, but I would love to hear down below. Thank you for coming on by this little wrap up for the icons for today. We'll be back tomorrow with some more news, I'm assuming, for another icon. If you'd like to follow me on Twitch, I'm over there on the weekends, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Mwah.